Hey friends, welcome back. It's me, Dale, and I just recorded inside this morning, so we didn't have to deal with the interruption of the trains. But I lost the video that I made. I don't know why. It was like the first time that things didn't work the way that they always do, and so that's the importance of just like starting over and trying again without your emotions getting upset about how things didn't work out, and like um you know letting that take from your energy. Okay. So I just had like a bunch of weird things that would never normally happen. And then it was like not allowing me to use my microphone because I figured, okay, well, I'll come back outside and I will record out here. And because I was like, if I was doing it for efficiency's sake by recording inside so I didn't have to lose time because of the trains, because the videos are the videos, it's the length of the videos, but you don't know how much actual time goes into it when I have to pause for trains and stuff like that. So I was going to come back out and just start reading the book again, which was what I was reading. Like it was the 1 hour video that I lost. It was chapter 12. So, but you know what I feel like now is because this wouldn't be a good introduction for me reading the book. I will turn this into a tarot reading. Okay. So I have everything reset. I did like all the normal computerized things that would make sense to like look to see if I could restore my files and things like that. And it was like, nope, you can't do that. Nope, you can't do that. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go with that. And there's a gnat around me. There is something about energy does not feel negative today, but there's something resistant about the energy today of like where you might be taking steps forward and you're getting like put back into your place, but not even into the place where you started, but like from where other problems are arising to prevent you from getting the work that you actually feel motivated to do today. So like I said, I'm not going to let my emotions get involved of like, oh, I'm so mad because I put that time into myself. It's like, do you know how much time I have wasted on my own time where I have the intention of doing a video and then I just don't do it? Okay, so it's not fair for me to be like angry about this because I wouldn't get that angry about myself if I were just wasting my own time. So I'm not going to get mad at the computer and all these other things for it. Yeah, so I did all the mechanical things and the computer things, but then I also just like saged the computer like with this, black sage. It's not actually black. It's like it's painted black. Um Paint it black. Is that a significant song to you? So anyway, I am going to pause it and then I'm going to reset for instead of reading, doing a tarot reading, and then I'll go back and we'll figure out what direction it seems that things should be moving next. And I put this little crystal on my computer. So I don't know for today, my like mechanical engineering skills or whatever you want to call it, computer skills and things like that to make things work properly. Those things didn't work. But after I saged, you know, I'm not having the same problems that I was before, which was like I was trying to record the audio with my microphone plugged in. And what it says is that restore your privacy settings so that it can use your microphone. So I go into my privacy settings, but it's already got that option selected of like to allow it to use the microphone, but it kept not allowing me to record the audio on it, even though I had just done an hour-long video. So the things that should make sense to lead us into like problem solving skills, it didn't, but I chose like the spiritual weird stuff of like saging the computer and putting a crystal on it. And coincidentally, that it's working now. Okay. So I'm going to get my tarot cards out. Let me pause it and I'll be right back. Okay. All right. I am set. The crows this morning were actually like even right now, they're more active than they normally are and closer than they normally are. Normally I can like hear them, but they don't usually fly in close. And if you don't know, I am really in love with crows. I do know why. It's like just because they're awesome and because it all stemmed from the original Crow movie, I think. I don't think that I felt like I had a connection with them before then, but for whatever reason, um, yeah, I've been connected with them since then. Okay, so let's just get started. I don't know. It's just so weird. I wasn't expecting to have like anything get in the way of me to just continue on with I had a very like productive day yesterday in the way that I want things to be. Okay. So I pulled the deck out upside down, but it's the hanged man card was in the upside down, okay? Because in the upright, he's a hanged man, right? Um, but in the upright, I that's got some sort of message. So I'm just going to let that be where it is. And then this wanted to show up. Okay, the world card. And that's the a completion of a cycle of an old world. And so actually that was one of the things that I wanted to say, is that we had a full moon last night in Sagittarius, and there was a lot of messages about moving forward, letting things go, in a reading that I did yesterday. And I would have to, how did I not even see this? The King of Coins. Um, and it's like, I'm looking at this again because I try to make sure that I don't shuffle in reversal. So, like, as I'm holding this one, it's upside down, but that's because it's going to shuffle into this one. But it's almost like he's standing upright now to receive the coin that the king has for him. And so I wanted to, like, consciously say that I want a new message for today, because it's been okay. Let me make sure I don't reverse it on itself. Um, I've been getting the same readings and the same characters in each of the readings, and it's telling the same story over and over again. But for whom the bell tolls, the bell is tolling in the distance right now, because I live near like a church and school, Catholic school, and so the bell tolls on the hour. So it is 12. It's noon here. It's actually 12:01. I don't know why the bell tolls like a minute after the start of the hour, but it just happens to do that. So Ace of Swords. Okay, that is what I'm looking for. I want a new message. I want a new energy to feed what these messages are telling us, because that old story, it's so boring to me. I know the story and I don't want to keep hearing it anymore. So we've got the Hangman again, which sometimes that just happens as you shuffle, the same one will come out on the bottom. But this Ace of Swords is, I'm getting what I was asking for, is that it's time for a new message. All right. And so I would say that completion cycles are happening, judging by the fact that we got the world card, and the fact that we have the Ace of Swords, okay, and the bell tolling, and for the fact of like that I had to do things different today, because even though I had like a real method for success of what I thought was a significant day, and we just started out the 7th minute of this video, which is, it's like a divine oversight number. Okay. It's a very lucky number. There's so much significance to the number 7 in the Bible. Whoa. Okay. And out fell the 9 of Cups. Whoa. What all is this? What all is this? All right. 9 of Cups, 4 of Wands, and Temperance. Okay. And I was talking about the Bible yesterday in the reading, because Temperance, the way that it looks in a traditional deck, is like the angel is standing with 1 foot on land and 1 foot on water. And right in the start of chapter 10 of Revelation, which was what I was reading yesterday, it's talking about that angel, and the angel is holding this little scroll, and it says to John the disciple, who is the one who is writing Revelations, because he had all these revelations when he was sort of banished to the island of Patmos for talking about the Bible, or like talking about Jesus in Asia. Okay, so I only know this because I was reading the Bible recently. It's not because I have some like evolved knowledge of historical religions or something like that. But anyway, so the angel is holding this tiny scroll, and the angel says to take the scroll and put it on your tongue and swallow it. And it says it will taste as sweet as honey on your tongue, but it will like unsettle your stomach. And then so he does what he's told, and that's exactly what he says. It tastes sweet, and then it makes my stomach sick. And I think that that's kind of um relevant to a lot of like the words that people talk to you, or like if you are saying, yeah, it's more like when people are talking to you, that their words might sound sweet, but then it has a different feeling in your stomach. Okay, and so you know that things aren't right, but there's something going on with this, like the proper amount of time was has passed, and the cycle has like ended of the old cycle, to where alchemy is finally working in your favor, and it's creating like this personal emotional abundance through stability of possibly marriage, okay, or just the stability of where you have these 4 wands that are now the foundation, like the table legs of the table in which you're standing, that has been like constructed by the power of waiting for the alchemy to happen. All right. So, um, yeah, I'm going to shuffle those back into the deck, and we're going to, because I don't know, even like the deck is shuffling different today. It's very like clunky, and things are staying together that the cards would normally shuffle a little bit better, but these cards are a little harder, so they don't separate as well. Oh my gosh. I don't have a fuzzy like in my nose, but that's what it feels like. And oh my gosh, okay. Everything, everything is very. I don't know, it seems so like peaceful and easy and clear. What is going on with these cards today? I know it's just me, right? I know it's just like me shuffling these cards and like, they are doing what I am putting the energy of them into doing. But there's something else going on. I don't know. Okay, let's just see what's going on here. Again, 9 of Cups. All right. Okay. So it's a good thing because I got a huge like gathering of cards here, but the one at the top is the sun. And it's like over top of this like union of partners down here. Okay. And it's blessed in the light of the sun. And they're just like easily standing. It looks like there's mountains at the bottom there. But they're like small, very small mountains. So whatever it is, it's like, oh, those mountains are not a problem to climb anymore because look at how much bigger the people are than the mountains. So they're just like, look at, it's like they can't even really climb them because they're bigger than them. So they're everything. Okay, something good is going on. All right, and let's see. We've got the 5 of Swords underneath the sun, the 4 of Wands again, Temperance again, 8 of Coins, 3 of Swords, Ace of Swords again. All right. Okay, so these are things that we have already been seeing. So that's the sun. The 5 of Swords was like, it's traditionally thought to be like a self-sabotage, but let's see. With the we have the 4 of Wands again and the Angel of Temperance. Okay. And then we have the 8 of Coins, which is like working on your craft. And then we have the 3 of Swords, which was, they don't even represent it as heartbreak in this card. But they represent, I like the spider and the spider web because normally it shows up with like 3 swords in a heart, but it's almost like the spider and the spider web, which I was just clearing off a bunch of spider webs. So I think that's kind of funny and significant. It's that like this is old stuff long enough that it's just been sitting around. So now there's a spider web on it. And it's like, that's the symbolism of the 3 of Swords card is that heartbreak only, um, it only stays with you for as long as you want to think about it and invest in your thoughts in that thing. Okay. But like we showed at the beginning with the cut, it's like God's giving you a new idea. So this stuff is old. It doesn't happen anymore. It's like this is a sandwich in between all. It's okay. So here's the bread, right? The bread is the sun and the sword. Okay. But all this mess in the middle is like there was some self sabotage, and it had to do with the fact that there was like a union that wasn't working well, and you had to wait for temperance to figure out like what is your skill, what are you supposed to be working on, and that is going to be the thing that gets you out of this old stagnant energy, um, because you'll be given like a new opportunity from God in order for it to be blessed in the light of the sun. And it seems to be with like partnership, not just that skill. Okay, so let's see what else was coming out with this. We have the 6 of Wands, the Knight of Swords, and the Queen of Swords. Okay. And let me go to the other pile that we had, the Star and the 8 of Cups. All right. Okay. So what we had been getting the message of over and over and over again was that there was a false King of Swords who kept cutting down this other person who is actually like a King of Cups and a King of Wands is how he's shown up in the past. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out if that was a fuzzy. I don't think it is. I think it's just the reflection on my hair. But anyway, um, and so there's this sense that this like he was like, "Oh, okay, you want to think that I'm like a youngster in this game of like communication and like um because I don't want to fight back with you. Well, all right, let me get a little training in battle, all right? And then I become the Knight of Swords, all right? Because you thought that I was like this childish communicator or whatever. You're just like trying to like cut me down because you think that you're a King of Swords, even though you're not. You're like stealing that title just to try to utilize the title of king in order to have power. But you can't, like, especially if you're a woman, you can't be a king unless you're Cleopatra or whoever it was that became a king in Egypt. Um, but anyway, so it's like, all right, I didn't want to have to use this sword, but if you want to keep doing this, then okay, then I'm just gonna like step up and not really fight with the sword, but just clear my path with this sword. And then we have the 6 of Wands, and it's being recognized for how strong you were to like to be a warrior in this thing that you didn't even really want to be recognized in, but it's being recognized by this Queen of Pentacles who is like your counterpart, who recognizes your value. It's like, look, this is your value, even though it's my coin that I am holding. But this is like the reflection of what you are, okay? Especially in my vision, right? In my vision. And it's like, so she is recognizing him, all that he has been through, and because now he's moving on. He didn't show up today as the Page of Swords. He showed up as the Knight of Swords, right? And it's like, because there's been movement forward beyond these old emotional cups that were unfulfilled, right? Because the person was just not mature enough. The people in your past were just not mature enough. So because you finally moved forward from people who couldn't fulfill you, you had to fulfill your own like mission and destiny and fill up your own cup and find self-love because you know what you're interested in. So you know how to like invest in what you're interested in by putting more attention on those things instead of putting your attention on battling with somebody who's not really in their power. They're like faking the power that they're in. And so you get what you wish for. You get the things that you were wishing for upon the star. All right. So she's like standing on land, but pouring water into water. And that's because she's grounded, but has so much emotional fulfillment that she can just pour it out forever, forever. Like, does that water need more of her water? No, but because she's got such positive energy, because like she is the lady of the stars, of which people are all honoring when every time they wish upon a star or wish for something or dream bigger, she's like, all right, I'll just pour it back into you because it's going to reach you through the water supply. All right. So she's like the constant flow of emotional fulfillment. All right. So her cup never runs dry like these ones that were like tipped over and whatever. Okay. So was there anything underneath the Nine of Cups? It's like the Four of Coins and the Eight of Wands. How the Eight of Wands again? No, in the Moon. It was just that there was some like holding on of things. What is the Eight of Wands? Messages, fast messages that were previously okay. Let me just show you what I'm looking at. Right? It was no, that wasn't on the top. What am I doing now? Oh yes, it was. I'm sorry. That was the Eight of Cups, Nine of Cups, personal emotional fulfillment. And that was because like this thing of like the Four of Cups traditionally means like holding on to something that you're afraid to let go of because you have some stability in it, but it's like really what you're holding on to was like, your truth the whole time, which is good because it's valuable. And then the Eight of Wands has a message for you that's going to be coming in quick. And here's the moon. Right now I was talking about there being a full moon last night, and it's that is when the moon is reflecting the most light from the sun, so you can see clearly. So the message is getting clearer, and it's that there's this building of emotional abundance. This Knave of Coins, it's like the coin that you've been given by God that you've been holding on to since childhood, since you were born, essentially. And there was the Hanged Man. It's that you had to like be in this uncomfortable position until you achieved enlightenment. All right. All right. Six of Swords is under that. The Knight of Coins. I'm not going to read further into the deck like that, but let me pause it. We're going to move forward. Okay, I wanted to take note that we saw the sun, the moon, and the stars. Okay, is anything more important than those things? I don't know, not really. Okay, we're going to move on to the Goddess Tarot, and that is by Chris Walder. Right there, you go. So at the bottom of the deck is the Nine of Swords, and that's like overthinking. It's overthinking when it keeps you up late. But I think it's at the bottom of the deck because it's intended to show where you're moving away from. All right. And that felt more like a story about a masculine, the previous one that we did. This feels more like a story of a woman. Let's just see where these things are cutting. The Six of Swords. And we did see the Six of Swords, but I didn't feel like I should talk about it from that deck. So here it's moving on. It's moving on from stuff that isn't working no matter how hard you try. And then what else? We've got the Nine of Pentacles, which means personal, emotional, abundance. I mean, it means abundance. It means physical abundance. And then we had the Prince of Staves, and that is a young energy, young masculine creative energy that is showing up. Creative in the terms of like what is a natural skill that this person has been given by God. And I'm not even necessarily talking about man, these don't want to combine together. I'm not talking about like a skill like, oh, you're a really good carpenter or something. It's some sort of like energy, some sort of energy that this person just contains, right? It's like if you understand that your sun sign in astrology, it's like I think it is rare to get through this life without finding out what your zodiac sign is. Okay. So if that's not so important, then why do we all know what it is? And that's what I'm talking about when I talked about the wands, right? Like the staves are wands. What's up? Just want to see what this is showing here. Justice, Athena. Okay. The scales of justice are they're finally like moving into the present day moment. All right. I don't know. Last one, maybe. Eight of staves again. So let's just see what's at the bottom here. Tradition, Juno. All right. So let me first of all, it's a number five card. Five represents change. And again, that's what I was talking about. It's like I feel like that full moon culminated some things in order to end the old cycle and begin the new. So I'm going to look up Juno and can I do it on camera? Yes. Okay. All right. Can you see it? Juno. Um, What happened? Yeah, Juno was honored as the patroness of marriage and other traditional rites of passage in women's lives. This Roman goddess was believed to watch and protect all women from their first breath to their last. Meanings: following established social structures and traditions, in love relationships, the desire for marriage, or declaration of intentions for the sake of security. If it's in the reverse, nonconformity, questioning of traditions for tradition's sake, possible rigidity. I find that interesting that there's possible rigidity when it comes to like bucking the system and not wanting to follow along with tradition. Okay. Oh, and underneath it is the Six of Staves, which is the Six of Wands, which showed up. Oh my gosh. Then there's the Six of Cups right under that. Um, Two of Cups. I don't want to keep getting too deep into this because I want it to like talk about the message that we already have. But the Six of Wands showed up in the masculine side of the reading. So now we're getting it in the feminine side. And it's something about being underneath this concept of the tradition card, okay? That maybe she's getting recognition for it's this card didn't show up in reverse, but the reverse meaning of it is somewhat more relevant in this meaning. It's like that you went against tradition and now you are being recognized for it. And like if you watched my video from yesterday, I was talking about how I don't think that people need to do traditional marriage anymore because it's ruined so many people and kept so many people stuck in these really negative spaces that they don't deserve to be in because the things that people like promise each other during the wedding ceremony. It's like that stuff is done before the reception even starts. You know, you're probably like fighting with your spouse or whatever. Um, so I was talking about the concept of enlistment and reenlistment dating, and the fact that you can, if you love somebody, then go ahead and have a wedding ceremony in which you commit to each other for a certain period of years. And then if things are working out well, then you continue it on. And if they're not, then you just like say thank you for all the love and awesomeness that we had together, but it's time to move on. And the Six of Cups is remembering nostalgia because like these cups have flowers in each one of them. And like flowers represent beauty and they also represent growth and they also represent changing of the seasons. And so there is really something beneficial about like going back to nostalgia um to bring inner peace and direction and motivation when you're trying to figure out what is not feeling good in your present world. Okay. So let's see what else we got going on here. We have the Eight of Wands, we have the Ace of Pentacles, and we have the Moon, Diana. All right. So we are having duplicate cards, right? Eight of Staves and the Moon. We're just in that reading. All right. The Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles is like a new pentacle given by God because you move forward. It's like was it let me just look at it. Let me see. We had the Four of Coins, then we had the Eight of Wands and the Moon. That is freaking crazy. Okay. Eight of Wands and the Moon. Do you see? It's the same thing. It's the same thing on both sides of the reading. So the masculine and feminine energies are highly aligned within this. And it just took time to get there. This one wants to keep flipping the moon. It wanted to like flip and land on the sun. But the sun card that I have down there. So it's like this finally there is this new opportunity for financial gifting from God because of the movements that each partner has created within this. All right, this is so many cards, but let's see. We've got love, Venus. All right, we've got Six of Swords. We've got Two of Pentacles, Four of Cups, Five of Staves, the World, which we saw in the other one, Two of Swords. Okay, so let's talk about this. All right. Because you kept the blindfold on and you did not worry about what decision you had to make. You just kept going with what you were directed to do and sort of like get out of what the concept is of tradition, right? With Juno, if she's the overarching message in this thing. And I'll tell you, I had a puppy, well, she was a dog who had babies at our house, and we named her Juno because like there's a movie Juno, the crows are sounding off. They think it's funny. But long story short, she ended up running away. She didn't want to be a mother. She was like too immature to be a mother. So anyway, so you stopped worrying about what decision you had to make. And through that, you completed an old cycle because you used to like worry like crazy about like, if I do this, how is it going to be wrong? Or like, if, I'm a woman and I believe that women should follow the direction of what their man thinks is best because that's how you empower a man. If you want to argue with him about what he thinks is right, good luck having a good relationship. And so I was just like blindly following the men in my past, like my two ex-husbands, because I'm like, even though I could see the destruction and what they were doing, I wasn't going to nag them about like how they were doing it wrong and whatever. It's like in the Bible, a woman is supposed to be her husband's helpmeet, which means to help him, um, like to boost him up and give him the type of energy that he needs to stay motivated to maintain his mission, to follow his purpose. So anyway, there was the Five of Staves where there was this like battling going on before between the old relationships where it was like they were battling, the men who were supposed to be the leaders were battling themselves. They were battling your ideas even though they complimented them in the past. And so there was like an emotional lack of fulfillment because it was like just in general, it was like I am completely lacking fulfillment, even though I'm following the traditional rules of what makes a relationship work best. And what is going on with that? It's like you can't find fulfillment in friend groups because that's normally what the Three of Cups means. It's like getting together with friends and celebrating because that relationship was like pulling you away from all of the people who you could go and have fun with because you had to try to stay home and try to like make your partner um happy, but there's no such thing. You cannot fill the cup of a partner whose cup has a crack in it. You will never be able to fill it, okay? Never. So there's this Two of Pentacles where she's not so much like juggling what she's doing. She is very calmly. It's almost like the energy, you can't really see it in the video, but there's energy swirling around those pentacles. So she is just holding the pentacles and the energy is swirling around. So she's maintained the balance, whereas normally it's like the juggling of these things. Okay. So, um, though yeah, but judging by the Six of Swords, there is something of a, um, there's something of a imbalance, right? The coins are not at a balanced point, right? There, one is lower than the other. So it almost reminds me like she is looking out at this woman, which is Isis, but she's watching her like float away, or she's got her back to it. I don't know because she looks like she's standing on sand and that there's water beyond her. So, anyway, but by doing all these things, by not following tradition and by like, trying to honor tradition and it not working out, so then you just move forward to realize that like I have learned from all my own personal experience that I have tried it the traditional way. I have tried it the way that everybody else recommended. I tried it. I tried like going all in on what my partner was saying, but they weren't there for it. They weren't there for it. They weren't invested in it because they were out of alignment. So you had to move forward into this, into where you get to find love. All right. And that's with like self love. She's like covered in red. She's got a red dress on, but she's also like laying on a red. Oh, there's a little dog underneath her. What looks like it might be like she's laying on a sofa with a red covering over it, and there's a little dog underneath there. So there's something about like loyalty, that in love, the foundation, like what underlies love, is loyalty. And then she's got like a rose bush growing up. She's got purple, she's got all this long, crazy, wild blonde hair. She's holding some of the roses, and then she's got them up here. So there's just a lot of symbolism when you're looking at cards, so that if if you're a reader, or you're just like starting to learn what the meanings of the cards are, it's so that you don't get bored with what the meaning holds. It's that every day you look at it differently to see if there's a different vision within it. Okay, so let's look up. The love card was six. Now, how many sixes do we have? We had the Six of Cups, the Six of Wands, the sixth card of the Major Arcana, and the Six of Swords. So the only thing that we would be missing is the Six of Pentacles. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not seeing that. All right. But with the Six of Pentacles, six of, what do they call it? Yeah, they do call it Pentacles in here. That represents equal give and take. But we already saw the Ace of Pentacles. So it's like there's nothing in the give and take anymore in the Pentacle world. It's that you are just being given. You are being given um wealth and abundance by God. All right. And it's because of all the movement that you've done for true love. All right. So, love, Venus, associated with the suit of cups. Okay, so Venus, it's Isis controls all the swords, Venus controls all the cups. All right. Created from the happy union of sea and sky, Venus, the Roman goddess of love, has been described by many as the queen of pleasure and passion, meaning a renewed awareness of the nature of passionate love and what is needed to encourage it: artistic creativity, sexuality, integration of the masculine and feminine, a new important relationship. Now, I was talking about this yesterday, about like how to integrate your masculine and feminine energy, and it wasn't in the tarot reading I did. It was in it was just in like the 1 hour message that I put out yesterday in the video. Okay, so let me pause it, clean these things up, and then, oh, and I should say that creativity is associated with sexuality, but like you can't just waste it. You can't just waste your sexual energy, or you're wasting your creative energy. And that's what happens. It's like when you feel like you have this call to a passionate thing, it's that you will take a lower level version of that by like having cheap relationships and cheap sex and stuff like that. So it expends your energy on that thing and prevents you from using that energy for a creative purpose. All right. But at some point, you realize that that is not the way that you're going to fulfill the need to create something. All right. You're going to feel like it was a waste, even though it seemed like such a good idea in the moment. It's not. That's like the idea of your ego. All right. So it's exactly at 33 minutes, um, which is, it's just the sacred Jesus number. All right. So hold up. Let me get some oracle cards out. Okay. These are the Rumi's Gift Oracle cards. All right. And as I pulled it out from the box, it's showing union. All right. And so does that seem like it's consistent with this? Now, I don't really know what this picture is, but I'll tell you what it looks like to me. As soon as I had looked at it, I was like, oh, it looks like a Capricorn goat, right? Because of these look like horns to me, like the goat horns. Um, so I don't know if that's what that is, but let me look and see. I'll pause it. Okay. Treasure was right underneath that, but I kind of feel like I only need one card from this deck, and I will just take it as it came out of the box because I shuffled it and put it in and didn't know what it was going to be. There's some birds playing in the tree over there. There's two robins. Yeah, okay. Anyway, union. Come, come, my beloved. You have unveiled 1,000 faces of love, all of them residing here in my heart. You are my sun and also my shadow. You are silence and the words of this poem. Once I thought I lost you. Now I see the world through your eyes. Come, come, my beloved. You are my speech. Tell me my secrets. When Rumi accepts that Shams was gone forever, he became inconsolable. I don't know who Shams is. Maybe it's like his partner. Um, Poems of love and heartache poured out of him like blood out of a gushing wound. He had entrusted his life to love, and love had crushed him like a measly ant. He often stayed up all night and fell asleep near dawn when the well of his tears had run dry. This went on for quite a while, and then one day near dawn, he had heard Sham's voice in the azan, which is the call to prayer. He ran outside to find the muazzin, the reciter of prayer. and he saw the sunrise. This is strangely aligned with the book that I was just reading that I lost the video for. Okay. So I am going to read it again. So I hope that you will tune in for that so you can see what the link is between this. Okay. All right. He ran outside. Yeah. To his astonishment, he was looking at Sham's face rising in the sun. He then turned around and saw children playing and laughing in the street and felt Sham's joy in their laughter as the wind carried the scent of orange blossom, Sham's favorite fragrance. Rumi placed his hand upon his chest. He felt Shams in his beating heart. I am here. I am here. I am here. It was then that he knew that love's alchemy had, in its mysterious way, completed the work of his transformation. His search was over, and Shams was forever part of him. The words of this poem turn into a woman who has united with the beloved, exposing her throat in vulnerability and freedom. She bellows, tell me my secrets. The verse on the lower right side reads, you are my speech. Poem in action. Sit in a comfortable spot and close your eyes, relax your breathing. Think of a loved one who you miss. Place your hand upon your heart, keep breathing, and see if you can feel their presence in your heart. Continue for 10 minutes or longer. Okay. So I am not seeing all of what that is saying about like a person discovering their union and opening up their throat chakra. Oh, now I see it. Now I see it. Okay. This is like her face right there. And so she is like singing. Okay. And so this is her throat right here. Okay. So let me pause it. And what I'm going to do is bring out er, the herbal astrology oracle. And because I just got this deck, I'm going through 3 cards at a time to read the meaning of each. So yesterday I did the first 3 cards, and now today we're going to do the next 3 cards. And I'm very looking forward to it because the next card that I saw was a lion. And in yesterday's reading, I was reading from the Moonology deck, and it said, don't let your pride stand in your way. And it was like a full moon in Leo card. And I didn't even think about it until I was listening back to the video. There was a card stuck. Actually, there's like 2 cards stuck in the bottom here that didn't want to come out. So I just want to see what they are. Fool and Courage. And it's like the poems associated with those. So yeah, you need courage to be a fool. You need a lot of courage to be a fool because I was talking about courage yesterday and how it requires complete vulnerability, and that Brene Brown often talks about that, and people do not like to hear it. That they think that you can have courage without vulnerability, but you just can't, and that's fine if you want to disagree with it. But anyway, the in regards to the lion card from yesterday, um, from the Moonology deck, it was like, don't let your pride stand in your way. Okay, well, what is a pack of lions called? It's a pride. So it's not just talking about pride, whereas I was saying that your pride is like an ego issue to where you don't want to be vulnerable and have courage. It's like you getting stuck in your ego and calling it pride as if it's a good thing. But you're, what it's saying is don't let your pride hold you back. Don't let your group hold you back, because that's what will happen is like you grow up in a certain type of environment, you grow up in a certain family, and it will hold you back because they don't see you for more than what the group is. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's that they want to hold you where they are because they would feel insecure if you start to rise above and move beyond the pack, right? Move beyond the pride of lions. Okay. So let's just move on. We've got 4 Rue protection, and it's got an infinity symbol, and I cannot remember what that sign is. Okay, so they have like astrological signs of like what the planets and things stand for, which it will show us in the book. So I'm just going to show you real quick what that is, and then I am going to find the page in the book. All right. They always have this like how you can set up your decks if you're doing a traditional reading, which I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't like how people get so stuck on tradition, Juno here, right? Because then you feel like you are not even accepted in the thing that you're doing, right? Like being interested in tarot is sort of like a black sheep thing, or it just makes you different from the rest. Then they have their own rules. So then you're falling back into this concept of tradition of like, if you don't do it our way, then you are not accepted here. Well, that doesn't count anymore. That's not relevant to where we're at anymore. We are moving into a new world. They talk about the age of Aquarius and all kinds of other stuff. It's like, that's where we're at right now. All right. So if you want to do something, go and do it for what makes sense. Don't worry about like getting traditional teaching or whatever. It's like I said, I learned about my computer today based on the experience that I went through it. So if I didn't say that specifically in the beginning of this video, I said it in the one I made a short video about what had happened, about how my video vanished. Got vanished. All right. So anyway, Rue, protection, Ruta graveolens, upright, psychic shield, auric protection, angelic wisdom, banisher of darkness, restoration of vitality. Reversed, spirit possession, parasitic energies, anger, self criticism, judgment, self hatred. When I'm reading about this deck, now this is only like the fourth page that I've read from it so far, what I get the sense of is that when it's talking about upright and reversed, because I will never read in reversals. So what that tells me is that you, if you're tuned into this, you are in the upright energy of this card. And chances are it's because you were involved with somebody who is in the reverse energy of this card. So I'm trying to tell you, if you feel like somebody has been possessed by a spirit, there's parasitic energies that are working through that person to get to you, or they're like parasitic against that person. There's anger, self criticism, judgment coming from that person, self hatred that they project onto you. It's like perhaps this is a good plant to think about. It's like, where are you going to find rue? I don't know. I don't even know what it is, but I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do, because I worked at a garden center and I had never heard of it before, and it's an herb. So it came into the garden center and I was like, what is this? So honestly think I might have some in my garden because it looks similar and I've been wondering what that plant was. So I'll have to look it up because it looks a lot like this. Um, so anyway, so you can get some at your local garden center, but you do not have to have the actual thing to embrace the energy of it. You can really just think about it and meditate about in meditation, just focusing your attention. Okay, let's get over like the ancient words of these things, because those words hold a symbolic reference within how you feel about them. Okay, so if I say meditation, you might be like, oh my gosh, you are such a like hippie and weirdo. And it's like, all right. So just focus your thoughts on this, and it can help to bring in the energy of that thing to help you move away from, or provide like a protective barrier between you and the person who is in the reverse of this energy. There's a train going by. I'm not going to stop for it. I'm going to keep reading. So if the audio gets a little messed up, so be it. All right. The astrological ruler is the sun and Pluto. Okay. So this circle with the dot in it, if you can see it up close. Yeah. That's representative of the sun in astrology. That's like the shorthand way to write it. And this is Pluto. All right. And I know Pluto, Neil deGrasse Tyson was like, sorry, Pluto, you're not a planet anymore, but it's still something relevant. I'm sure it's got a myth about it because I'm sure that there was like a mythological character in Roman or Greek mythology that tells us about Pluto. So we'll explore those things as time goes on. But let me just read about what this says. Rue is known as the herb of grace or the blessed herb. In Spanish, it's known as ruda. And in Greek, it's known as Reu, which means to set free. So, Rue is considered a powerful, and my daughters love the character Rue in Hunger Games. Okay, if you guys have watched that, I love that little girl. She's so sweet. Um, Rue is considered a powerful and protective plant with a long and detailed historical use in both medicine and ceremonial rituals. Early physicians considered rue a vital remedy against plagues, pestilence, and poison. During the Middle Ages, rue was hung in doorways and windows to ward off the evil eye, hexes, and malevolent spirits. Some of its primary uses in ancient Greek and Roman medicine was to stimulate menstrual flow, improve eyesight, alleviate nerves, and relieve rheumatism. And that's interesting. Rheumatism and rue, it's not spelled the same way, but I wonder if they come from the same, you know, if rheumatism was called that for some association with rue or vice versa. I don't know. Priests were said to dip rue in holy water to bless people and their homes. Many would wear bunches around their necks to ward off evil spells and curses. Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo and Donatello, and I'm kidding. Um, that's the Ninja Turtles, if you don't know, were said to consume the fresh tops to improve eyesight and increase creativity when immersed in their art. Although rue is considered to be native to the Mediterranean, it has been found in historical accounts among the Maya, Aztec, and the indigenous peoples of North America, who also practiced the tradition of planting rue by doorways to bring blessings and protect against evil eye. All right, guidance. Rue is said to be the herb of angels, granting us the ability to channel the angelic realms. It emanates golden energy like a lion, powerfully protecting and pouring in light into any space that it inhabits. Resilient like the wide array of solar herbs, it grows generously and abundantly, thriving in all kinds of terrain, demonstrating its strong life force and vitality. Rue has landed in your cards today to remind you to protect your aura from lurking and possessive spirits that might be consuming your energy. Don't allow parasitic negativity to darken your field, which can create perpetual states of self criticism, self doubt, and self hatred. Call upon Rue's power to shield your body with angelic forces and restore radiance, vitality, and love in your atmosphere. Okay. And so because we're reading these in order, it seems like we're getting like all these yellow, like the first, I don't know, rosemary wasn't saying rosemary was the third card, and that wasn't saying it was a solar powered herb. So I don't know. I'm just trying to create patterns where I don't yet know them just by trying to be observant of what's going on in these. All right, so our next one is the Blue Lotus. So, yeah, this one has a sun on it too. Let me just see if the sun was on all three of these cards, all four. Calendula was definitely ruled by the sun. Yes, St. John's wort ruled by the sun. Rosemary ruled by the sun. And the reason I can easily look at this because I created some knowledge with the symbol of the circle and the dot within it. Okay. So it must be that at the beginning of this deck are all the sun ruled plants. And then, yeah, Rue, we know it was just in it. So this one has the circle with the dot in it. And then it's got a crescent moon. So what do you think that is? It's ruled by the sun and the moon. So I'm teaching you critical thinking and understanding, overstanding, understanding, so that you're not such a dummy out in the world. I'm sorry to call you that, right? I'm sorry because I am too. And I don't like being like that. Also, this was on page 23, 22, and 23. So 23 represents change. And now we are on card number 5. 23 represents change because 2 plus 5 equals, or 2 plus 3 equals 5, which represents change because it's midway between 0 and 9, right? Okay, so now we're on to the 5 card, which represents change. The Blue Lotus, intuition. Um, Nymphaea Cerulean. Okay. Upright, intuitive knowing, unearthing the subconscious, meeting the guardians of mystery, dreaming, initiation, reversed. Suppressed intuition, disbelief, disconnection, moodiness, lack of inspiration, hidden intentions, blockage of psychic powers, astrological ruler, sun, moon. The sacred and mystical blue lotus, regarded as the flower of enlightenment, which often they combine it in like herbal smoking blends, which I find beautiful and amazing. The sacred, okay, it's the flower of enlightenment, is an ethnobotanical treasure that has been recorded in ancient scriptures as a heal all and is revered as the ancestral flower in mythological creation stories. Blue lotus is a water lily. The crows are so loud. I hope that you can pick up on them a little bit. Um, when I think of the blue lotus, I only think of Egypt, and I just glanced and saw Egyptian, so we're going to come to that. Okay, ancient scriptures as a heal all is revered as an ancestral flower in mythological creation stories. Blue lotus is a water lily best known for its powers of euphoria, intuition, rejuvenation, and aphrodisia. These little gnats that want to come in and play here and try to disrupt the reading, it's not going to happen. It's just negative thoughts that other people are thinking. It's fine. All right. Blue lotus was associated with the Egyptian sun god Ra, okay, which is probably why it's ruled by the sun. The ruler and bringer of light. It was used in religious rites and ceremonies led by shamanic priests or shamanic priests, I prefer that pronunciation, to induce a trance state so one could commune with the gods. It was also used in funeral ceremonies after the death of a loved one, as blue lotus is said to assist the soul in entering the light. The ancient Maya also revered the blue lotus and other water lilies and referred to it as Nahuatl, as Quetzalcoatl, meaning precious water flower. There are so many letters in that word, and so it would take me forever to figure out how to pronounce that. Um, Blue lotus, although revered as the flower of the sun, embodies both solar and lunar elements chemically. It contains a natural antispasmodic and relaxant called nucifera, which means it has moon in parentheses, along with a porphine, which produces a sense of euphoria and bliss, which has the sun in parentheses, right? So these alkaloids, among other medicinal compounds, bring about pain relief, stress relief, and lucid awareness, which is that's cool. Um, Guidance. The blue lotus is a direct doorway, a mediator into the world of the gods. Um, the perfected balance that bestows us assists us in bridging and refining the divine connection between the heart and the brain. Blue Lotus today is assisting you in widening the portals of your intuitive powers, granting you access to the realms of inner knowledge held within the great mystery. Remember, the lotus rises from the depths of muddy waters, untouched and impeccable, to blossom into majestic beauty. Don't allow the muddy waters of the blossoming process to suppress your intuition and belief in yourself. Trust the process and believe in the mystery. Listen deeply to the guardians of mystery as you unfold from the darkness, right? Think about that. Like the muddy water, you're not going to be able to see the wave, but you can sense where the sun is. And so it just climbs towards the sun. Sage. I was talking about this as I was like lighting my sage the other day, talking about like, did the herb get its name sage first, or was there a term called sage, right? Like a wise person, and that's how the herb was named. So maybe we'll find out something informative about it here. But I'm telling you, I think that we have moved on from the sun ruled cards to the moon ruled cards because there's only a crescent moon in that one. Okay, so take some time, look at it up close. It's so beautiful. The artwork is just so comfortable and beautiful in this. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. All right. Okay. Six, sage, blessing, herbs of the moon. Oh, right. Now we know. Great. Six, sage, blessing, Salvina Apiana, upright, blessing, purification, invocation, sacred gift, spiritual cleansing, reassembling emotional body, mystical sight, reversed, unable to receive, emotional narcissism, escapism, invalidation, inner division, lack of willpower, unhappiness. When I saw inner division, I could only think Joy Division because my daughter loves Joy Division because of a lot of the things that we watch. Donnie Darko, 13 Reasons Why. What else was I watching yesterday that was talking about Joy Division? The Crow, the new Crow movie, maybe the old one. I don't know. So anyway, their music's not even all that great, but it's got like this cult following. It is good. It's amazing, actually. The music is amazing, right? It like does something to you. But as far as like the technicality of music, I don't think that they're like these phenomenally great musicians by traditional standards, right? Tradition, Juno. Here we are talking about. Oh, and exposed the sixes again, the six of staves and the six of whatever else it was. Now we're on card six. All right. So this is our last one. Thank you for being patient through this reading. Um, the name, okay, where did I go? Where I saw that? Oh yeah. All right, lack of willpower, unhappiness, astrological ruler, moon and Jupiter. Jupiter is so cool. Oh, it does show up on this. I just thought it was like a number four. This is the sign of Jupiter, if you can see it. This almost looks like a number four. Okay. Jupiter is like one of the biggest planets, if not the biggest. And it's like this jolly person. It's representative of this like big jolly guy. It reminds me of like the Muppets Christmas Carol, and there is like one of the spirits that come to visit Marley. He's like this big jolly guy with the crown on his head that I think have candles on it and stuff, and he's wearing like this big red coat. And that type of jubilance, that's what Jupiter is. It's like the giver of good things and fun and all right. Let's see what it says. The genus name Salvia comes from Latin salvare or salvare, meaning to save, an apt name for this powerful and protective herb. Various species of sage can be found throughout the world, and this card embodies the spirit of this precious and ancient plant. First Nations peoples and Native Americans. So, First Nations peoples, as far as what I remember from my own studies, Canadians call their Indigenous people First Nation, okay? Whereas Americans usually say Native Americans, all right, have used sage ceremonially for thousands of years for inner and outer purification. Sage is regarded as a panacea and employed as a medicine to heal um, against many ills. It's also used as an offering in sweat lodges, wrapped around sacred objects, and placed in medicine pouches. And sage is one of the primary herbs for smudging. Smudging is a sacred ritual practiced among Native Americans. It is similar to the smoke limpias practice in Central South American traditions, where smoke is brushed along the body with the hands, feathers, or ritual objects to bless, purify, and invoke ancestral spirits. Limpias. Limpia means clean, right? Like limpiar means to clean in Spanish. So I would guess that that is why it would be called, it's like a cleansing herb. All right. In ancient Egypt, sage was used as a remedy for diseases and epidemics like the plague. In pharaonic tombs, um, yeah, I just want to make sure I wasn't mispronouncing it. It was used as one of the main ingredients in embalming, as it was considered an essential herb for entrance to the afterlife. The ancient Romans regarded it as a holy plant, and prior to picking it, they would enact a ceremony to ask its permissions. A special knife was used to collect its leaves and stems. Like herbs ruled by the moon, sage is a vibrationally powerful plant that deeply influences the electromagnetic field. The moon houses our intuition and emotions, and lunar herbs greatly affect the tides of our subconscious mind, our emotions, and psyche. Herbs of the moon also rule the gut, and sage is one of those allies that not only sharpens our gut feeling and intuitive gateways, it also heals the gastrointestinal tract. Guidance. Sage, like the moon card in the tarot, which we saw twice, okay, and is the great portal to the river of life. The silver light of sage grants us the power of insight while we navigate the darkest hours. The lunar powers of sage remind us to look inward to receive visionary insight from spirit. Don't get overly consumed by the emotional interplay. And that's what I was saying at the beginning of this video. It was like, since my video didn't work out, I'm like, I cannot waste my energy on emotions of disappointment because that's not going to get me anywhere. Okay. Um, Allow it to pass like the clouds. Draw upon the inner reserves of your psyche to navigate darkness and become keenly aware of what is causing inner disturbances, fear, and unhappiness. The initiation you are undergoing, although unfamiliar, is a great blessing. Feel yourself cease and reassemble as you break illusions to unearth hidden truths. Surrender. Don't stand in your own way. Allow the silvery white light of sage to shatter illusions as you undergo a great awakening. That is so freaking beautiful. So, that's going to be the end of this reading. And there is just so much crazy symbolism in this to create a cohesive message. Like, how do you not find beauty in that and interest in that, as opposed to like battling with people about silly things that nobody knows the truth of? They're just like, oh my gosh, this energetic clearing is just like trying to come through me. But anyway, spend some time learning about this stuff and see if it like not triggers, but feels at peace with what you already know and what you're going through, instead of like watching the news or having conversations that make you feel anxiety about like not knowing enough. Okay. Do you know what you're a master of? All the knowledge inside of you and who you are. You can be a master of self awareness if you will just break tradition and stop letting other people tell you how you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to do, and just move forward. Okay. There has been completion of an old cycle. The moon released that for us, right? Yesterday's reading was all about what you need to release. And the moon birthed a new child into like, it's a new life. Okay. A new life cycle has been birthed for you last night. Thank you, Sagittarius, for like birthing a new life cycle into like the beauty of what Sagittarius is. So go look that up. I love you. All right. I'll see you soon.